This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Athletics.
Leaping at the wall, it's gone! A towering drive into center field by Rooker.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
A judging blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right, away back into the second deck.
Bobby Witt Jr. becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have two 30-30 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to walk-off dingers to Hall of Fame talk. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, I'm so thrilled that Chris Carey just dropped off the fight. We're fighting ALS, and this is a big day today, Lou Gehrig Day. I got the wristbands. What do you guys think?
Love it.
I know people on the A's Radio Network and 650 KSDE, and also on A's Cast. You can't see it, but the wristbands that you're going to be seeing today.
Love it. I like the color, too.
Pretty cool. Steve Sax, Cody Elias with me here. It is A's Cast, and we have a great show for you. I just want to get this out of the way now. Kyle, our intern, has done an unbelievable job getting me the injury update of where we are with the A's. Are you guys ready?
Fire away, my friend.
Gunnar Hoagland. Gunnar Hoagland is now on the IL, and he is dealing with a right hip impingement. We'll be seeking a second opinion. Miguel Andujar has a grade 2 right oblique strain, which means...
Who knows how long that's going to be. That's not good. Right oblique. I had the same one in spring training, and I missed 3 to 4 weeks. That's not a good one.
Yeah, the oblique.
It's a mystery.
The oblique, it is like the new chic thing over the years. Years ago, no one ever talked about it. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a lat strain, and then now it's the oblique, and now you're out for a long time.
Yeah, and it's so subjective as far. I mean, this thing can be ugly physically too. You got an oblique strain. It starts out as a bruise on the side and on your side, and by the time it's done, it's down there in the lower part of your back. It moves. This thing has a thing about it. It moves, and when it's moving, that means it's leaving your body, and it's not a good thing.
Isn't that what Gelof's injury was? Wasn't his an oblique?
Now it is, yeah. It originally wasn't, but Gelof, who's on the 60-day IL. So for the people who call into the post-game show and complain why Miguel Andujar was not in the lineup in L.A. and other times in that period, I got to go to my scorebook, but whether it was San Francisco or like, why is he not? He was dealing with that, played through it, and congratulations, he played through it just like you guys all wanted him to, and now he's out for a while.
It's not going to be 10 days either. It'll be longer than that.
Leclerc going through throwing progression, throwing 3 days a week now, $10 million.
Wow.
A bullpen struggling, $10 million, and you're getting him to throw 3 days a week. Gelof going through hitting and baseball progression, taking ground balls. We've seen it out here today.
Yep.
He is working out, but he's nowhere close. Kurtz is on a running progression and will be on a rehab assignment shortly.
Okay.
That's good news.
Yeah, that is.
That's not good news.
It's good. It's good compared to what you see with a strain right here in your side. That thing is like, it could be a week. It could be 6 weeks. You just can't tell.
I was more excited about the rehab soon.
So you know what?
You got
something definitive with him.
No, there's nothing definitive. It says rehab soon. You know what rehab soon means?
With Kurtz.
It means it's not coming anytime soon. Let me read into this. Okay. I've been doing this a while. It's, hey, he's kind of running, and at some point, we're going to send him somewhere.
Is that when somebody says, hey, man, let's talk soon, which means a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're a new patient. We'll get you in sometime in June.
Yeah. Right. Have a
Yeah,
seat.
good luck with that. So yeah, I can read. I can play doctor for you here. I can read this. McFarland will throw in a game in Stockton tomorrow. That is good news.
Yes, that is. And starting in A ball, that's good because he's going to go down there and wipe them up, which is going to, be good for the trend to start being positive. That's what you want in this whole charade that's going on with these guys being hurt. You can need some positive news coming out here.
So do you think I'm done?
No,
I'm not even close. JT Ginn will pitch on Thursday in Tacoma.
Okay.
We'll reassess after that. Here's the question. When JT Ginn is ready to go, there's Johnny Dasco, the great Johnny Dasco. When JT Ginn is ready to go, are you ready to make him a reliever?
What do you?
I think so, because you need some. I mean, unfortunately, the way that the pitching's been going, you need some depth out of your length out of your bullpen.
Your bullpen, as of late, has been the worst bullpen in baseball. He hasn't proven he can stay healthy as a starter.
Yeah,
kind of reminds you of Mason Miller.
Mm-hmm.
In our game, a guy that can come in, since our starters are not going deep, a guy who can come in 5th, 6th, 7th and pitch multiple innings is a very valuable guy.
Yeah, he is. He can give some length to wherever the starters, are finished. He can kind of, be that connection to the back end of the bullpen. So if he can do that, I mean, if he can get progress like that and put up some positive numbers, I think that'd be a good thing.
Brady Basso threw live BP in Arizona last week. We'll throw again tomorrow, and we'll see after that. I like him a lot. I think he's got a really good arm.
Yep.
A lefty. I love the curveball, what we saw last year, so that could be good. Here's a name that gets brought up a lot when you talk about reinforcements. Not only is it Brady Basso, Ken Waldachuk.
Yeah.
Ken Waldachuk finished live BP progression. Obviously, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. We'll be progressing towards simulated games in Arizona next.
Okay. Yeah.
So we
Still a ways away.
Really his timeline, I think 14 months is August, but I think they've talked about before the All-Star break, which would be in the 13th month.
13th month,
Because now we like to think of Tommy John. You're not beating 12 months. 12 months after surgery is early now. So it usually is in the 13th, 14th month before we'll see you again. Gio Urshela is running and return to baseball progression. Will hopefully play in a game shortly.
Okay. That's still wide open. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shortly means.
TJ McFarland throwing in Stockton tomorrow. Yes.
Yes.
Will play at some point.
No.
We've heard soon and shortly so far in these injury updates.
And you forget about Luis Medina coming back from Tommy John surgery. Yeah. He is throwing from 105 feet as of today.
Okay. But that's,
And his surgery was in August of last year, right? Somewhere around there. So you think 14 months would be October, maybe September after 13 months. I don't think we see him this year.
Yeah, we're not going to say. No. Nor should we.
No.
Yeah.
Right. No.
He's a special arm. He's a special talent, and that's kind of one of those, hey, we'll see you next year. Get healthy.
Yep.
Waldachuk, Basso, at some point, that's good news. JT Ginn as soon as possible. Got to figure out how to keep him healthy. He's got stuff to get people out. And that's kind of where we are. And, today's show is going to be the start of This Is It. I've got some old A's teams that have done a good job coming back in June.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go over that. But as of now, this is the last stand.
Yeah.
Right here against Minnesota and against Baltimore. What you do in this series, this is, if you come out and have a bad series, I'm not going to kid anybody anymore. We will go into development mode.
Yeah.
This is Custer's last stand truly right now.
Yeah.
They've battled in Toronto, even though they got swept, but they battled. Bullpen gave it up.
Mm-hmm.
But they battled. They showed that they haven't quit. They've got to turn around right here, right now, or we're just kidding ourselves.
Yeah. And, Townie, when you look at it in scope, the team is really doing pretty well offensively when you compare what all their metrics are against the other teams in the American League. OPS, runs scored, batting average are second. I mean, they're doing some really good things offensively, and we all know where most of the issues are. And again, part of it's, you got to talk about development, because that's part of the deal. I mean, it's a young team with not a ton of experience, and they're working on that. But 14 under 500, I believe that's where we are now.
Yes.
You can change the narrative. Maybe not so much about, we're going to be in the playoffs right away, but they can get to 500, and that's just up to them. They don't have to worry about anybody else, but they can get to 500. And if they get to 500, then they're going to be talked about. But until you get to 500, it's not going to be an issue. So,
well,
we got to make up a lot of games still.
Go ahead, Cody. The games I've got that mark of August 15th.
We did this live on the air a few days ago, but we've updated it now.
No, it was a while ago.
It was early last week.
We were in San Francisco.
Yeah, early last week. So the A's, if they want to reach 500 by August 15th, which is game number 124 on the season, we just hit game 60 yesterday.
Yep.
64 games left. They're 23-37 now. They need to go 39-25 to hit 62-62 at game 124 on August 15th.
That's pretty big thing to do.
Yes, and we've seen, as Tony alluded to, in the past, A's teams take off in June. It was kind of a staple under the Bob Melvin era.
Well, I got it for you right here. June 2nd, I'll never forget. 2012, the A's went on to have the best record in baseball. They hit the most home runs, and they reeled in the Texas Rangers for what is one of the great seasons in the history of the A's. At that time, they were 13 games back on June 30th. So they're only 10 games back now. They were 13 games back on June 30th. So I went and checked teams that have come back in June.
Okay.
The 06 Twins, who would knock off the A's in the playoffs, they were down 12.5 on May 27th. The 2014 Dodgers were 10 back on June 8th. The 02 A's. Why is that special?
Moneyball.
You heard of a book and a movie called Moneyball?
Sure.
The Moneyball A's of 02 were 10 games back on May 10th.
Wow.
So it says, you probably remember this one. After all, it was chronicled in both a book and a movie called Moneyball. For those not versed in the early 2000s baseball lore, the A's lost Giambi, Damon, Isringhausen to free agency, with the big three of Hudson, Mulder, and Zito in the rotation, Chavi, Miggy, Hatteberg. I love how Hatteberg always hits a home run. He always gets brought into this. It's easy to play first base.
It's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
The team rattled off 20 straight wins from August 13th to September 4th. Along the way, they turned a 4.5 game deficit into a 3.5 game lead. So the Moneyball A's were down 10 on May 30th. I don't think this team out here is going to win 20 in a row, but that's, you're going to have to play 600 ball.
Yeah.
So it is doable to be 10 games back in June.
Yes, it is. No question about it. I was on a team with the Dodgers when we were about 10 back, and we can check it, in August, and we came back and won it. I won the division. So it can.
You were 10 back in August?
Yeah. We gained 9 games in 9 days, I think, against the Braves. We swept them twice, and we just shot ahead of them. So I've seen this before. I've been on a team that's done it. We can check it, and it's happened. So
what year do you think
remember
that
what
was?
year it was? Yeah.
That was, it might have been 82. It could have been 82. It could have been 80. It was early. It was earlier in the 80s. Yeah. So it can happen. There's no doubt about it. So maybe 85. Could have been 85 because we won it that year. Our division could have been 85. So yeah, there's been lots of instances like that, especially when you're in first and second place and you have that head-to-head confrontation. And those things happen.
And at 1982, you guys at one point were, oh no, you're over 500 there, so it's not that year.
So try 85.
85, okay.
Yeah, it could have been 85.
Well, when you think about it, it's much harder now. I was looking at it. Do you realize we only play 2 division foes in the last month of the season? We have the Angels at the beginning, and then the last home series, we have Houston and Kansas City to close it out. So you only play in division twice in the last month.
Yeah, that's odd because you want to play in your division all the time towards the end. Because that's when
because actually, you know why I was looking at my best friend's son is now going to go to UW to Washington.
Oh,
and he's asking me about tickets, and I'm like, of course I can get you. And and then I was looking like we don't play Seattle, we don't play Texas, we don't play Houston. We play Houston once.
Yeah,
that is odd.
So if you're chasing, if the Athletics do come back, like we're going to hope for, we're going to give them one last opportunity.
Yeah.
You will not face Seattle in the final month of the season if Seattle is the leader.
Yeah, that's strange.
By the way, 1985. The Dodgers on – no, it wasn't 85 either.
It was 85.
We'll have to keep digging.
Okay.
Because that year you guys were – you did beat Atlanta a bunch here. 1, 2, 3,
Try
4.
83. Try 83.
All right. I'll keep looking.
Yeah.
All these records are over – they're well over 500.
Try 83. Yeah. That could have been it.
Were you ever 500 under the Dodgers?
Yeah. I think we were. Yeah.
No, 83, you guys were still over 500 then, too, in August.
Okay. Try, it's one of those years.
Well, our crack staff can get on it. They can look at 84.
Yeah.
Can't be 84 because 84 was Padres.
Yeah. And you guys were under 500 that year.
We were under 500 that year?
Yeah.
Wait, was that Brad Pitt? Do that again.
47 doubles.
I love that. The Moneyball scenes are the best.
I wish I could tell you exactly what years, but it was.
How to replace Giambi? Well, we go Billy, we go Scout, we go to no. Play it.
47 doubles, sir.
Yeah, there you go.
When I point at you, Tuck, you want me to speak? When I point at you, yes.
When you find it,
he's got an ugly girlfriend.
When I point at you, yeah.
He's got an ugly girlfriend. What does that mean? No confidence.
Yeah, I'm not finding this any of these because there's a couple of years you guys were under 500 with the Dodgers too.
Yeah.
Either way, there was one in there where you guys went on a long run of beating the Braves that I saw. So
okay, check September then.
Got an ugly girlfriend. What's that mean?
Crack staff, look it up.
Girlfriend means no confidence.
What's that? The Braves. Yeah, it was 10 games. I'm sitting here on the air saying this. I better be right.
See,
and I know I'm right.
Here's the problem with modern day baseball. We can check everything about your guys' careers.
Absolutely right. And that's why I know that. And I would never say it unless I knew it was right.
Like we can go back and look. Like
sure.
Steve Sax is one of, I believe, 5. Steve Sax is one of the only human beings ever to have 200 hits in the National League and in the American League. I think you're one of 5 guys in the history of baseball.
Yeah, I
see. We can look everything up.
I've heard that. I know Lance Johnson is one. I think Billy Buckner is one. I'm not sure who the other guys are, but I do want.
It's very rare.
Yeah,
it's like the rarity of winning a Cy Young. It just goes to show what getting 200 hits means.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people do it.
Well, we got a fellow on our team that's going to do it.
Yeah. Did you see the?
So
82, 83, 85, and 88.
83, you guys were in August 1st, you guys were 6.5 games behind. Then on August 29th, you were a game up in the division. So maybe it was 83.
So
you guys were 4 games under 500 on June 10th, and then you finished 20 games over 500.
Wow. Okay. Well,
either way, you guys done it a couple times. But this one in August, it shows that you guys were 6.5 games back to start August. Then at the end, you were a game up.
Okay, well, that's only 7.5 games.
Yeah,
I said it was 10.
Yeah, well.
Don't
let facts get away with a good story, Sax.
Well, that's what I said. Journalism. When I was in journalism school, don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
No, I'm not saying that.
We were 18 games back with 19 to play.
No, and there's actually another year. It was almost 10. It was like 8 or 9. Maybe that's the 7.5 one, but there's another one out there.
All right.
That was. Just keep checking. You're going to find it.
Sure wasn't with the Yankees or the White Sox?
No, the Yankees. You didn't make the playoffs with the Yankees.
No, we were bad.
You had all that talent and all that money, and you guys stunk.
Don't tell anybody. It's between you and me.
Yeah, Don Mattingly made the playoffs one time in his career, and it was that 95 against the Mariners.
What'd you got? Okay,
we're getting somewhere.
That's
so
27 games, but I wasn't that. It was 10.
And it was in August, he claimed.
We gained about 10 games against the Braves in 10 days.
So the moral of the
kept
story
sweeping
here, to put this train back on the tracks, it's doable.
Yeah, of course it is.
But it starts now.
And
I'm not going to kid our fan base anymore. If you go out and you lose all 4 games to the Twins, or you lose 3 out of 4 to the Twins, and the Orioles come in here and you still can't, it's.
No, you got to start winning some 3-1 series, couple sweeps.
You got to win this series.
Yeah, you got to win it.
By the way, who are we going to have today?
So we're supposed to have Willie MacIver at some point after BP. He is everything I've seen on television, his personality is infectious, and he's going to be great on here. We'll have Cory Provus, a television voice, former radio, now television voice of the Twins. And then the general manager of the team, David Forst, will be by at 5:35. So
nice.
Willie MacIver after BP, which could be in the next 10 minutes or so. Cory Provus of the Twins, television broadcast, and then David Forst at 5:35.
You know what the GM said today? He said he can't wait to see how I spin this today.
Yeah, positive spin.
Well, I mean, it's all we got.
Yeah. Well, look, but in all honesty, there are a lot of good things happening. Should I spell them out?
Yeah, I'm all ears.
The offense.
I got till 6:00.
Look at all the metrics on the offensive side. OPS, batting average, we're second. Home runs, we're up there in home runs. Runs scored. There's a lot of metrics up in there that we're doing very well offensively. Put it this way, enough to win games where you should win games. When you score 7 runs and you lose, it's not supposed to happen. It would happen on this trip. You lose 11-7. I mean, it shouldn't happen. You should win those games for sure. And
thought yesterday, getting the updates on my phone, I kind of stayed away for 2 days because I had a bunch of graduation stuff going on in the old neighborhood. Willow Glen High School is dealing with a lot of different graduation stuff and birthdays, and it was a big weekend. But I was following it on, I was getting all the updates on my phone. I thought yesterday, that was a win, and then wow.
Then the eighth inning happened.
Eighth inning happened. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I'm not down there. We're not down there, but I can imagine what it's like when the bases start to jam up and you're up by 2 runs. Are they thinking, "Oh my God, here it is again"? But it happens too many times.
Well, the answer is yes. Unfortunately, that's where everything is right now. Yeah. We are in you're dealing with human beings. It happens in sports. We all follow the NFL.
Yep.
If your defense is playing well and your offense can't score, the defense knows it.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
They know it.
If you're out there putting up 4 touchdowns, but you're losing 35-28, the offense knows the defense. Or if you go out there and the kicker misses 3 field goals, and you lose,
like Jake Moody did.
Jake Moody is a wonderful guy. By the way.
He is, and I love him.
I play golf. He's a member at my club. Yeah, I played golf with him, and he's a hell of a guy.
And I'm not picking on Moody because it's going to come down to.
And he cost me money when they played Tampa down in Tampa. I was up in Reno.
Yeah, really.
Trust me. I remind him of that, and everybody. No, but yeah, it's
to Michigan. I know all about Jake Moody.
It's that's kind of.
Yeah. I mean.
So this team knows.
Sure.
I guarantee you in Toronto that there have been conversations. The coaches know, the players know, they're scoring runs.
Mm-hmm.
Problem right now, no doubt, is the pitching. We can go over the numbers. The numbers are, they're really horrific. When you look at, you've given up 55 runs, 16 home runs, and 48 innings during a 6-game slide.
Yeah. I think the month of May, the bullpen ERA was close to 10.
Their rotation right now during the 6-game slide was 12.38.
Yeah.
The bullpen ERA in the month of since May 14th. So essentially the losing. So the 17 of 18 stretch, 8.70 ERA for the bullpen.
Yeah. That's
not good. Starters though 7.59. So that hasn't been good as well.
Right.
During that stretch.
The guys are. The thing about it is all those guys on that team, including the pitchers and the bullpen guys, are some of the best baseball players in the world. They are. And they are just in a big funk right now. And they know that too.
Yeah.
They know that too. And they're not fooling anybody. Their teammates are trying to pick them up. The teammates are rallying around them when they do have a good bullpen outing, which hasn't been a lot. But the guys are pulling for them, and it's a tough thing. They all know where it is. And, sometimes you just have to wear it until it gets better. That's all you can say.
Well, there's nothing. This what you see, unless David Forst, the GM, comes here today on set and has some new names.
Yeah.
Let's pause for station identification right here on A's Cast. Yeah, unless David Forst has some new names, what you see is what you need to win with is behind us on this field.
Yep, that's it. That's it. And sometimes you will get someone can come out of nowhere and just tear something up. You can get somebody come out here and throw a one-hitter till the 8th inning. Mason Miller comes in and throws 9 pitches and it's over. Something like that big can kind of like change the momentum, can put a shock of enthusiasm in everybody, and it can kind of get you on a different level. I've seen that happen too. But they need to do that. They need to change the expectation, because the expectation now is they roll their eyes. Here we go again. You got to change that.
Yeah, you can't survive like that.
No, can't.
That's death.
That's bad.
When the team believes, you could say this is, and the only reason why I know this is being in San Francisco a lot in the NBC studios. So we commingle with the Giants people, and all they talk about is, hey man, Giants can't score. Mm-hmm. Giants haven't scored 4 runs since they played us.
Wow.
So it's when they're looking at it. So where we are in the green room, Shooty and I, and we're seeing the A's give up 12 spots, 13 spots. They're coming in going, to the Giants scored 1 run or no run, like they can't score.
Wow.
So you don't think the pitchers for the Giants are doing what the hitters for the A's are doing? Like what do you want? Yeah, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah. And another thing we got to forget about is geography. The ballpark, it's just the ballpark, or when we go on the road. I mean, the other teams are having no problem scoring on the road or at the ballpark. Here, they're having no problem.
Well, I mean, the whole thing about being on the road, that road record flipped to 14 and 18. So the whole thing about the ballpark, if you saw Toronto,
yeah, right, yeah,
you saw Houston,
yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's
the ballpark is not the thing.
The issue. No.
Willie MacIver, is walking up the stands. He will join us next right here on A's Cast.
Former A's pitcher and current SNY and MLB Network analyst Ron Darling shared his insights on the young A's core during an appearance on A's Cast Live.
I think everything starts at the top, right? So you got to start with Mark Kotze. Yeah. You know Kotze. He is a pro through and through, a great guy through and through, and he's been put in this spot for a reason, to make sure that these young players thrive and get better. Between Wilson and Soderstrom, Langoliers, I'm a huge fan of. I didn't know he ran like he runs. He really can run for a catcher. So you have all of this young talent, young core of everyday players, because pitching, you can go out and get a Severino. Yeah. You can go get some pitching. But core young players that you have control of are promised land for any organization. This team's going to get much better really quickly. They have all the pieces that this could be the time in the middle 2000s or late 80s, early 90s where they can return to form.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast. Get your group together and check out all our great hospitality spaces for bonding opportunities, events, or a fun outing of your friends and family. There are 20, 50, and 100-person indoor suites available for select games, as well as an 80-person open-air area with a shaded cover. Secure your group today at athletics.com/hospitality.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
Jacob Wilson sat down with Chris Townsend to share why the A's clubhouse believes they can win right now.
I think that we were talking about that in spring training. Being able to,
obviously we had some great signings that, great players come in, be able to lead the clubhouse, and then some extensions that we had, with the guys who called out last year. And, I think in spring training, we were talking about this is something we're excited for. And to be able to see it coming into full effect right now it's great, but it is a long season, so we got to keep working every day and keep trying to go out there and get those wins.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/AceCast.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, joining us here on the set of A's Cast Live, Willie MacIver, who is an unbelievable story. Grew up in the Bay Area, living out a dream. He grew up watching the A's, was also a Giants fan. Barry Bonds obviously was doing some unbelievable things when he was a kid. But I got to tell you, recently, we just had Fran Reardon, the AAA skipper of the Aviators, on, and I talked about your debut, about Logan Davidson and the debut, and he got choked up. I think it tells you everything you need to know about when he got to tell you at 28 years old that you were finally going to the big leagues, and then Logan at 27, what that meant to him, what it meant to the organization. When you hear me say that, now that you've been here a while, what does that mean, that there's people in the organization that got choked up to tears thinking about you coming to the big leagues?
I mean, that's Fran Reardon, man. All you can ask for a manager is that he cares, especially in the AAA level. And that guy cares about his players as much as anybody I've ever seen as a manager. So, I mean, and the fact I've only known him for a few months, but I've got to know him really well. We've had a ton of great conversations. He's the type of guy, man, to do whatever you need. Whatever you need, Fran's there for you. And, I mean, that's such a big deal to have at the AAA level, someone who you can lean on like that for advice and, to help you along the way with all the challenges that come with, the grind of the minor leagues. And to have a guy that cares about his players like that is I just feel really lucky to have played for him.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, how much is this indelibly just plastered on your memory? You come up here and you have this huge beginning where you get the big hit to put the team up, and then they get the fastest guy in the league trying to steal second base. You gun him down with a bullet down to second base. How has this just affected you? And has the family stopped talking about it? And, how does it just sit with you right now?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
that was like an incredible entree to the big leagues.
Yeah,
like a storybook.
It was awesome, and it just all the work that's came before it. It was just kind of one of those moments that everything comes together for you.
Yeah.
The fact that my parents and all the people that have been my backbone through my whole career, from 8 years old on, to be here and to enjoy that moment with them, for me, was what made it all that much better. Geez, I throw the guy out, and then 30 seconds later I can go hug my dad, my brother, my mom in the stands, my high school coaches. I mean, come on, man. That's it's a dream come true. It gives me goosebumps just talking about it now. And I really that whole debut for me was about my family, just because of I would never be here without them. The support they've given me throughout my journey has been, I just can't thank them enough. So to be able to enjoy that moment on the field with them after a Gatorade shower, man, it makes everything we've done, it makes it all worth it.
That's beautiful.
I tell young people all the time, we talk to a lot of young baseball players, I say, listen, play until they rip the jersey off you, because you've got the rest of your life to work. But with that said, I know it's tough. We've been in this business a long time, and when you're in the minor leagues for a long time, there's people that can be in your ear where they go, hey, listen, you're 26, you're 27, it hasn't happened yet. Maybe you need to think about a career. Guys are married, you have kids. There's all these different things, dynamics going on. That's why I'm so proud of you that you lived out your dream at 28 years old, probably with a lot of bus rides and a lot of hotels. You thought it wasn't going to happen. So take us through when it finally happens, man. You finally made it.
Holy cow, man. I mean, just so awesome. And I'm me mentally the whole time, this is what I'm doing. If you ask my mom, I'm a very strong-willed individual, very stubborn. So for me, I was like, you're going to have to rip that jersey off me, literally, because I'm not going to stop. I'm never going to give up on this dream. That's what I've done. I've dedicated myself to this for so many years that I don't care how old I am until my body doesn't work anymore or someone rips a jersey off me. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be in this game. I'll be in this game my whole life. When I'm done playing, I want to coach. So like I have so much passion for this game that and just the lifestyle, even the minor league lifestyle, the being in the locker room with your teammates, all that stuff, man, has just been, it's what I love to do. So it's almost like it was almost easy for me to do that grind because it was so much fun every day. And you get to meet so many great people along the way that I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. You know what's so funny about this, Townie? Him and I obviously played at different times, right? But you could just transpose a conversation like we're having now back to when I was a player. Everything's exactly the same. All the eggs were in one basket. The passion just runs out of you. I mean, it's the same things all the time. And when you talked about you finally made it and your dream came true, his dream just started. As far as I'm concerned, he's got a long time to play in the big leagues. He's what, you're 28 years old?
28.
Dude, you got a lot of years. You can still play a good 10 years in the big leagues. So you got a long way to go. It's not just, hey, given that, I wanted to ask you, the tenor of the team, the enthusiasm to go out and get after it every day still. I mean, you guys have been mired in the slump. We all know it. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret, but tell us what the underpinnings of this team is and what they believe right now, that they're still eager to go after it and still excited to go out there and play every day.
We have a group that has a very strong mental side of the game. So we, as a group, that you can't control what happened. We can only control how we respond to it, right? So our goal as a team, hey, we're going to sit down, we're going to look at some video, we're going to see what's going wrong, we're going to fix it, we're going to get better, and that's all we care about, is getting better every day and fixing the mistakes we've been making and bringing that same enthusiasm every day, and that's the only way you can get out of these things, man. And I've played on teams where we've lost, I've played on teams where we won, and this team's got the mentality to be a winning team, and we believe we are a winning team. We definitely have the guys in there. Yep. The whole group brings great energy every day. The mindset is a growth mindset where we're trying to get better every day, and so I'm confident and we're confident that we're going to turn this thing around. We're going to get hot. There's a lot of baseball left. So we're just keeping our minds right in the sense that, hey, nobody cares. Nobody feels bad for us.
No.
We have to show up. They're trying to kick our butts every day.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to, do whatever we can to get better. No one's feeling sorry for themselves. I promise you that, man. We're going to put our nose to the grindstone and keep going.
Love it.
I'm glad you have that mentality. Mm-hmm. We need to hear that because you right now, whether they're watching on YouTube or Twitter or listening on A's Cast or the A's Radio Network, you're talking to the fans right now, and they're down a little bit because you've lost 17 of 18. Things have really flipped. So give them that positivity. Let them know that the fight is still in that clubhouse.
Yeah, and the fans, obviously, it's a tough time for the fans. I know growing up as a fan, when your team's losing, it sucks. Yeah. And we feel that too. We feel that, man. We care. These guys in this clubhouse care.
Yep.
We're showing up every day like we want to win. We need to get this thing going, but we have to go about it the right way. We can't panic, even though it seems it's easy to feel like get into panic mode right now. But, hey, take it one day at a time, one pitch at a time. That's the only way we can get out of this. And just I want the fans to know, man, that we're working hard and we're going to turn this thing around.
Yeah, and all you guys, regular position players, you guys are pulling and tugging and urging on that pitching staff just as hard as you can. I know you are because I've been through these things before. Yeah. But there's a lot of good things going on with this team too. You look at some of the offensive side. You go through the metrics up and down the course. I mean, you guys are in the top on most of those internal metrics in the American League with runs scored, batting average. I mean, you go all the way through it, and so there's some issue, of course, with the bullpen, with the starters, we all know, and that's the area that's going to get turned around. And when that does get turned around, you're going to see a volcano of excitement, and that's how a team moves forward when you overcome something big.
Oh, 100%. Just wait for these pitchers to start clicking, man, because we've got the guys in there. We have the guys, they're just going through a little rough patch, but I promise you this, nobody's pointing fingers in the clubhouse. Yep. We're in this together, regardless of the numbers on the pitching side or the position side. We're in this together. We're a team. The pitchers we have, I believe 100% in that they're as good as any staff in the league. We just got to keep working, keep getting better, keep executing pitches.
Yep.
So as a catcher, with all the stuff that you guys do, you have all the data, you have the meetings. How do you, when you have starters that are struggling, you've got bullpen guys that are struggling, how do you and Shea Langoliers help these guys get through it?
So one was like, how can we simplify things for you guys? Like, how can we make this easier? Whether it's like, hey, look at video. Maybe you're tipping a pitch or something. We can go look in video and see if we can fix that, or watch an extra video. And the pitching coaches do a great job of scouting these the teams we're playing against. And so we have a really good plan going into these games. Now it's me and Shea's job to keep the pitchers calm, not let the game speed up. When we're in those big moments, stuff starts to go sideways, maybe go out, calm them down, pump them up with confidence. That's a huge part of pitching is being confident. And a huge part of a catcher's job is to make sure that your guy out there is confident in what he's doing. Because if he's convicted in whatever pitch he's throwing, I like our chances. If he's not, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So it's me and Shea's job to make sure that these guys are confident out there, that we're calling the right pitches, and that we're doing our homework. And I know Shea for sure, and myself as well, we've been working really hard to make sure that we're as well prepared going into these games as we can be.
Yeah, and Willie, obviously people would be crazy not to use the numbers as far as the sabermetrics go. I get all that, but how much of this too is like the baseball acumen of what you're seeing as a catcher, what your manager is seeing too. I mean, you're right there as a catcher. My brother used to tell me, he can see every little thing. If that guy's moving a little bit, if he's flinching a little bit on a pitch, if he's getting out there too early, how much of that comes into it? And that's kind of a floating question because things change in the box, as you well know as a hitter. So how much is that just your instinct on watching that guy in the box?
No, that's a big deal. It's a big deal, the instinct. So you have the scouting report and the instincts. Now we got to find that happy medium.
Gotcha.
Where I'm not a robot going off the scouting report. I also have to read a swing in the box, and that's a big thing we talk about too. Like, how do we get to 2 strikes? We have to set pitches up. We have to read swings. We have to notice body language of hitters. So there's a lot that goes into it, and that's something that obviously comes with the feel for the game, with experience that me and Shea have had. Shea more so at the big league level. But yeah, big deal. We have to. So that's part of the kind of the cat and mouse game that comes with calling a game. Is reading swings, knowing where his weaknesses are, when we need a pitch. Where are we going to go? What's our pitcher's strength versus the hitter's weaknesses? We can line that up. So there is a lot that goes into it. But I feel very confident with me and Shea's ability to read those hitters.
Love that.
Well, let me tell you something. You're an inspiration. We have a lot of young baseball players, whether it's up here now in Northern California and Sacramento, obviously still back in the Bay Area, who listen, who watch this. You're a great example. You keep doing it, and we'd love to keep having you here on A's Cast Live, and then spring training and into next year. As Saxy said, you got a long way to go.
Long way.
Hey, man, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Willie MacIver right here on A's Cast Live. And we're going to transition here. Cory Provus, who does television for the Minnesota Twins. We got to get him the Fran Reardon Cup, by the way. Fran Reardon breaking down. But Cory Provus, who does television for the Twins, is going to join us here. But it's an unbelievable story. It's an unbelievable story when you have somebody that shows the preservation and be able to have a career like this. It's unbelievable. Cory, thank you for stopping by. How are you?
Hey, guys. Thank you. Beautiful night. Great night. Thanks for having me.
We're just talking to Willie MacIver. It is such an amazing story. You get these stories in every single organization. A kid from the Bay Area makes his debut at 28 years old. You think of all that time in the minor leagues. It's very special. All organizations have guys like this, and it's one. We talk a lot about the guys who are first-round picks. We talk about a lot of guys who are the top prospects, but when you get a guy like that who shows up, it's something special.
That's really neat. And Avens, too, is another example, right? Yes. Wasn't he in the minor leagues for a long time? Yes. But MacIver, he and Trevor Larnach are like best friends. They grew up together in the East Bay. They played ball together every year. So that's one of his catching up with Trevor about that before the game tonight. That's one of his best buds from childhood is MacIver.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned Avens. He was a longtime player in the Dodger organization, and then got a chance to move and get up in the big league. So tell us about your team a little bit. I mean, you guys came off a road trip recently where you guys had a split there?
Lost 2 out of 3 in Seattle. This is stop number 3 on this road trip that began in Tampa.
Yeah.
So it started in Tampa, dropped 2 out of 3 there, then flew to Seattle.
Yeah.
And
rough weekend.
A really compelling.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 days of really fun baseball to watch. Twins tied the game in the 9th inning all 3 days off Andres Munoz, who had not allowed an earned run all year. And the Twins got him twice, Friday and Sunday off Munoz, and then rallied again Saturday. So amazing baseball. Great crowds, great energy. And the Twins won in extras on Friday. They lost in extras on Saturday, and then got walked off on bottom 9 yesterday. But incredible baseball, really fun, dramatic, and some moments that could have gone, either way. I mean, I think both teams would tell you that that's a series they could have either swept or been swept, looking back at the last 3 games.
Well, we always have Rocco Baldelli on this show, and last time we talked to him was at the winter meetings in Dallas, and we always talk about the big 3 staying healthy. I mean, that is just how do you do it? How do you keep these? Because we know your 3 best guys, when you're able to keep them healthy. We've seen Correa for years, what he's been able to do. Lewis is something special. And then, of course, Buxton is one of the best athletes we have in the game. But how do you keep these guys healthy? Yeah. I know it's something you guys have talked so much about, but the core of your team, when they are right, boy, it's strong.
And especially, with Buxton and Correa, because Royce got hurt in spring training, so he was out a while. He came back in early May, around May 6th, I think, is when he made his season debut. Royce has had a really tough year. He's 0 for his last 30. This is his second lengthy 0 for. He's not starting tonight. He got pinch hit for yesterday in a tight game late. We would never have thought that was going to happen, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, that Royce Lewis comes out of a game to be pinch hit for. But that's just kind of where he's at right now. He's really struggling, really searching for it. He's hit 8th, he's hit 9th, and when he's going right, he's hitting 3rd, he's hitting 4th, not at the bottom of the order right now, but that's just kind of how it's going for Royce. But Correa, after a rough start, he's picked it up. He had a great series in Seattle, a really good month of May. But remember that in early May, both Byron and Carlos, they went on the IL at the same time. They collided on a fly ball in shallow center in Baltimore, and both went on the concussion IL. Carlos came back before Byron, but both are back, and both are impactful players, and both are playing in the game tonight.
The A's are trying to really get on track, too. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a tough sledding for us. We got a tough game tonight with Joe Ryan. I mean, he's been a guy that's been pretty darn good for you guys. And then Pablo Lopez tomorrow is not going to be any easier. So tell us a little bit about Joe Ryan. I mean, 60% of the time he's going to come at you with that fastball. So I don't think he's a mystery about what he's going to feature, but boy, he's been putting up some good numbers.
His background is fascinating. North Bay guy, and he was a water polo player growing up, and so much of his arm slot and how he throws the baseball really traces back to his water polo playing days. You'll see that it's unique because it's a lower arm slot, and you tell me, you would know better than me, hitters, they see that slot, they anticipate a ball being in a certain area. Right. But with Ryan, with that low release point, it's not 98, not 99. It's mid-90s. Right. But based on where hitters assume a ball is going to be, it's not there because of that deception and that lower arm slot that really goes back to his water polo playing days. But it's one of the better trades the Twins have made the last 10 years, getting him from Tampa Bay for Nelson Cruz. And, Joe Ryan, to me, is a blossoming all-star. And I think he was going well last year. And the Twins had this epic collapse. We all know how the last 6 weeks went when they just fell out of playoff contention, losing, 27 of their last 39 and going from a 95% playoff probability team to missing it entirely. And much of it traces back to when Ryan got hurt at Wrigley Field. When he went down with his injury, they just could not afford to lose either Ryan, Pablo, or Bailey. And when Joe went down with the injured teres major muscle, that to me was the beginning of the end. But he's fantastic. He's been, one of the aces on this team, and the Twins pitching has been phenomenal. I mean, they got off to a really bad start, but it's not a fluke here. This is pushing on now 40-plus games that the Twins starting staff has been among the best staffs in baseball. So it's not a fluke.
Yeah, and the winning streak was huge. And, wow, you brought up Nelson Cruz. I'm thinking back to that trade, and you know how much Nelson Cruz tormented us for all the different stops, whether in Texas or in Seattle. I just want people to know, because we went into this season and, going back to our time at the winter meetings in Dallas, it's like the Dodgers sucked up all the energy and all the air in the room. That's all anybody talked about. And then it was the Yankees, and it was still the NL East. I want everybody to know, obviously the Tigers might be the best team in the American League, but if we ended today, you're looking at the wild card would be the Guardians, would be the Astros, would be you guys, and right below the Royals, there is a chance that you could be looking at all three teams, wild card teams, could be from the Central. So we had all the talk about the flyovers. Everything was going on the coast, but all of a sudden this year, our good friend Stephen Vogt, what he's done there and kept it going there in Cleveland. Just talk about just how strong the American League Central is.
I think we learned a lot about the division last year, and you can point to it like, the Central got 3 teams in last year because they beat up on the White Sox.
Yeah,
and I think there's some. I think that's fair to a point, but the Rockies are having a rough go. We know that in the National League West, but they're still beating some teams. The Angels got off to a bad start. They're beating some teams, so. These are still big league players. Just because a record says you're going to go in and win all 3, it's really hard to still sweep a 3-game series, let alone a 4-game series. But I was impressed with what the Central did in the playoffs last year. I mean, Cleveland had the bye.
And how Detroit even got there.
Detroit with that pitching chaos late. They got in, won a series, and pushed Cleveland pretty good the next round. Kansas City got in, won a series. So if it was that much of a fluke, then the Tigers are knocked out early. The Royals are knocked out early. And what? Baltimore is moving on.
Yeah.
Houston's moving on, and neither happened. So I think that gave the Central some credibility going into 2025. And with the Tigers, they have, Tarek Skubal. So anytime you lose 3-4 in a row, you've got that guy going every 5th or 6th day. He's going to end that losing streak. He's that dominant. He's that good in the game. But they're getting production offensively from guys I didn't see happening with Spencer Torkelson and Javier Baez that are coming on and being really impactful, borderline all-star players for Detroit this season. Didn't see that happening. And Cleveland is finding a way because they have this great bullpen. They have Jose Ramirez. We know that MVP player. We know that every year. But their bullpen is really good. Once again, they're great in close games. Kansas City's pitching is saving their season. Offensively, outside of Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino, hasn't been great. The Royals did bring up their top hitting prospect today in Jack Caglione. I'm curious to see the impact this guy's going to have in right field.
Wow. So what do you, I wanted to ask you about all these new changes that we've had in baseball. I mean, there's been a lot of them. Some of them are just kind of passe, like the pitch clock, no big deal. You kind of get used to that. You want to get it right. Like NFL, you want to go under the hood as long as it's pretty quick. You kind of deal with that. But one thing I'll tell you what I'm never going to deal with is putting that damn runner on second base in the 10th inning. Yeah. I mean, you play the whole game, and I want the guys to earn it. That's one of the things I'm just not really going for. Wanted to get your kind of sense of what you think the general consensus is around the league about all these rule changes. I mean, there's a ton of them.
I mean, I think everybody loves what the game is and what the game has moved into. I'm with you that I would, with the pace of play picking up, I'd be fine playing 2 more innings, play them out, play a 10th inning, play an 11th inning straight up. And then when you get to the 12th inning, then because I don't want to see the 16, 17 position players pitching. I don't want to see that. But that's not going to happen too often. No. So I would be in favor of, because pace of play is picked up, I'd be in favor of playing 2 more innings out, 10th and 11th inning, and then you get to the 12th inning, then you want to put a guy at second base, so be it. That'd be the one little tweak I'd make.
Fair compromise.
That'd be the one tweak I'd make.
Yeah.
When you look at this series for you guys, how do you go into it knowing the struggles of the A's, and this is a 4-game set? I mean, just looking at the notes, last year you hammered us 16. You won, actually since 2022, you've won 16 of 19, outscored the A's big time. So how do you guys view this series?
I think what the Twins have done a good job is keeping the former Twin in the ballpark. Brent Rooker has not had great success against the Twins since he's been with the A's, which is saying something because this guy is one of the best hitters in the game.
We have his new bobblehead.
There you go,
right
Brent Rooker. There you go, bobblehead
slugger.
right there. And so to me, that's key, number one, because he's going to be up there with guys on base. Now, the Twins don't walk guys. That's been a strength of their staff for a while now. They have the lowest walk rate of any staff in baseball. So keep that down. This ballpark, when it's averaging almost 3 homers combined per game, around 11 runs combined per game, I think with the way the ball's flying here, you keep that walk total down, you enhance your chance of winning. For the Twins, though, their offense has been inconsistent. I mean, during the winning streak, it was fine, but since that winning streak ended the last 12 games, they've been scoring on average around 3 runs per game. So if the offense is going to turn some things around, the ballpark says this is the place to come to. But, again, Severino, last 3 starts have been really good. His last home start was pretty good, too.
Yeah, finally.
So I know his home numbers aren't great, but something to build off for him tonight.
Are you shocked by the success of Brent Rooker since he's come here?
You know, I'm not, because I remember asking one of our front office executives after that draft, who was going to be the first to reach the big leagues, and they said Brent Rooker.
Wow.
Coming from Mississippi State, advanced hitter in college, I just think him moving up the minor league pipeline wasn't going to take too long. For the Twins, I don't think they second-guessed themselves. There was nowhere for him to play at the time, and this was when they had Nelson Cruz. There was nowhere for Brent Rooker to play, and, he struggled in left field. That's where they tried him there a little bit, but it just didn't fit. And so the trade that they made with San Diego and to get Chris Paddock and
the sheriff,
to get the sheriff, who was great yesterday, man, he's been awesome. To get Paddock, giving up Taylor Rogers and Rooker in that trade, Rogers at the time was the more why are they getting rid of a guy that could close games, was an all-star, whereas Rooker, you saw it, you didn't know where the fit was with the team. The Twins at the time were very corner outfield heavy, both big league and minor league guys. So that, to me, at the time, that made a lot of sense, but thrilled for Brent, the success he's had. He was a good guy, great guy to talk to, very analytically driven with his swing and how he studies, and I'm thrilled that he's had the success that he's had. It's great.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we got to go, but hey, thank you so much for the time. We
I
truly
enjoyed it, guys.
appreciate
Steve,
it.
I'm a Chicago native, man, so
good.
growing up, man, watched you play all the time as a
Thank
kid,
you.
man. Very
Thank
cool.
you very much.
Very
Appreciate
cool.
it.
It's like a little BP to get you ready for tonight.
This is awesome, man. When I said Steve Sax, I'm like, man, this is pretty
Thank
cool.
you very much.
Well, thank you for coming down. We
thanks, guys.
appreciate it. Coming up next, the general manager of the Athletics, David Forst, right here on A's Cast Live.
When it comes to knocking it out of the park, nobody beats Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is a 7-time Triple Crown Award winner, Ford Motor Company's highest honor for being the best in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Step up to the plate for our biggest selection of new Ford models, including the legendary F-150, on sale now. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters in the Folsom Auto Mall. FolsomLakeFord.com.
That ball is out of here.
Calling all kids ages 4 to 15. Join the A's and the River Cats for our free, family-friendly play ball weekend event in West Sacramento. Saturday, June 14th, from 10 a.m. to noon at the Alice Norman Bright Playfields. Enjoy baseball and softball skill stations, games, giveaways, face painting, and more. Your favorite mascots, Stomper and Dinger, will be there. Space is limited, so register today at athletics.com/playball. That's athletics.com/playball. Jacob Wilson sat down with Chris Townsend to share why the A's clubhouse believes they can win right now.
I think that we were talking about that in spring training. Being able to, obviously we had some great signings that, great players come in, be able to lead the clubhouse, and then some extensions that we had, with the guys who called out last year. And, I think in spring training we were talking about this is something we're excited for, and to be able to see it coming into full effect right now it's great. But it is a long season, so we got to keep working every day and keep trying to go out there and get those wins.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast. Calling all college and grad students. Grab your friends and head to the ballpark with this special offer. Save up to 50% off select regular season games throughout the 2025 season. Get your discounted tickets at athletics.com/student. Athletics reliever Hogan Harris joined Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live to break down challenges and adjustments required when transitioning between starting and coming out of the bullpen.
I'd say the biggest thing is there is still a routine. The difference is it's at 3 p.m. for a 7 o'clock game instead of right before the game. Like for me personally, I like to just go in, usually an hour before stretch or so, and then go get my body moving in the weight room, things like that. Get a crossword in, just kind of relax. Because at a certain point, that is kind of the fun part about the bullpen though, is that you never know. You really can't overthink it. You simply they're like, hey, you're in. I'm like, oh, all right, here we go. So you don't have time to overthink, you just kind of got to trust that, whatever you scouted for these guys, that's what it is. And then you just go in, and that is also a good thing. You're facing the guy once, maybe twice, instead of 3, maybe 4 times.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Streaming from A's Spring Training, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Well, that's on me for the A Spring Training liner there. I guess I put the wrong one in. But we're not at A Spring Training. We're actually at the ballpark in West Sacramento ahead of A's and Twins coming up.
You had a spring training thing in there?
Well, because I have it as ST, so I think I just made a mistake. I'll make sure that gets fixed. But Cody Elias, Chris Townsend, Steve Sax with you. David Forst will be here in a few moments. Wanted to promote before it happens. Sunday, June 8th, against the Orioles, you can get the Brent Rooker bobblehead with the home run counter. We'll put up the full screen. Home run counter edition.
Nice.
There's also the Silver Slugger one, which is on the other side in front of Towney there, that we'll be giving away. So Sunday, June 8th, against the Orioles, the Brent Rooker bobblehead. Athletics.com/promotions and athletics.com/tickets to get your tickets for Sunday's game against the Orioles to get one of these really cool home run counter bobbleheads that we'll be giving away.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty. It just shows you how far this guy has come when you start talking about a career. You know, Brent Rooker has been with 3 different organizations before this, and to think he has a bobblehead now, and to think that he got MVP votes was definitely something really, really special. I wanted to get to this really quick before we have the general manager. Obviously, today is the 5th annual Lou Gehrig Day to raise awareness for ALS. And June 2nd was chosen for Lou Gehrig Day because it marks the anniversary of the Gehrig promotion. We all know the story about Wally Pipp. Wally Pipp lives forever because of Lou Gehrig.
Mm-hmm.
Wally Pipp wasn't feeling well, so he wanted out of the lineup. Lou Gehrig took over and then played in over 2,000 straight games. Catfish Hunter, we're going to play some video. He passed away because of ALS. We're going to play some video of that in our show on NBC. Cody is wearing the End ALS shirt that supports our good friend Sarah Langs, who writes for MLB.com. We've had her on the show for many, many years. You hear on Buster Olney's podcast, Baseball Tonight. Sarah is one of the sweetest, most kind, generous, loving people that you ever meet out of New York. I've had her on set a few times back in Oakland. Obviously, things have changed, and we just always, our thoughts and our prayers are with her. And everybody's going to be thinking about her today. And also, you think about anybody who's affected by this. And you know, it's great that we have put a day together that we signify as all the players are going to be wearing the wristbands. I know everybody on A's Cast and on the A's Radio Network, you can't see what we're holding up, but you get the idea. It's the number 4 decal designed in Yankee uniform colors and font, will be worn by all players, managers, and uniforms. The red for ALS wristbands will be available to be worn in-game. I believe you'll be able to purchase these, but it just goes to show, someone like Lou Gehrig, who truly is the greatest first baseman to have ever played Major League Baseball, and have him affected by this can affect anyone. And obviously this is, we need to find a way we need to find a cure.
Yes. Fast. And it's not only the person that's directly affected, it's the families and all of his loved ones as well. It's a horrible disease. I hope is on his last leg and we cure it.
No doubt about it.
Hi, guys.
The
What's
general
up?
Manager of the Athletics is now joining us here, David Forst. David, how are you?
I have been looking forward to this all day.
I bet you have.
Yeah. As soon as you woke up, right?
Did Cody tell you what I texted to him?
And I'm going to cheer you up.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm pretty cheery.
To me, this is like Custer's last stand right now. Do you realize what you did in 2012? What you did back when you were first with the A's in 2002, that you can be down in June and make a comeback? I've looked at August 15th as the time, like, turn it around, get to 500 by August 15th. If you play ball 39 and 25 from here on out, you can be 500 and back in this thing.
Okay. I appreciate you doing the math.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to. I mean, we have a long history of needing to be a good second half team. I wish we didn't have to be. And I wish, I wish I could explain what's happened the last 3 weeks. I'm sure you guys have talked about it. I know a lot of people have asked questions. I don't have great answers. So it's frustrating. This is pretty much the same team that started out 20-16, and we felt like, hey, we can play with anybody.
Yeah.
There were some teams out there that were better than us for sure, but we didn't go into any series thinking we didn't have a chance to win the series, or frankly any particular night thinking we'd have a chance. And somewhere along the way, right around the 8th inning at Dodger Stadium on night 2, someone flipped a switch, and we haven't been able to get out of it.
Yeah, and look, like you said, people know what's going on. We've had some challenges in the pitching department, bullpen, whatever. But you'd have to be fair to mention a lot of the good things that are going on with this team, and there are a lot of good things going on with this team. Their offense, if you look at the internal metrics throughout the American League, just going up against the American League, there's almost in every metric they're in the top 5. I mean, runs scored, batting average, OPS, slugging percentage, they're all right up there. So, there's one area of the team right now that everybody knows where you got to do something better. They got to find a way to do it. They need to find something. Has to be a facilitator to get to that point where whether it's a mindset or whatever it is, but to turn that thing around, because the offense has been pretty darn good as far as I look at it.
No, you're right, Steve. And the thing about the bullpen, those are the same guys who were doing it the first 35 games of the year. So, and a lot of those guys did it last year. Like, there's a track record there. I believe those guys can do it. It is a tough spot to be in. There's no margin for error when you come out of the bullpen. We've known that for a long time. And you're right. The offense has given us some leads that we haven't held. But look, the bottom line is got to find a way to go out there and win.
Yeah.
It's just, we haven't found it for a long time now. And this is maybe a fresh start here against a different set of teams at home, on the road next week. But we got to turn something around.
One thing that we've talked about today is the guys that are behind us, they have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no magic coming from AAA, right? You don't have a magic wand of finding play. I mean, the guys that are in uniform that we're going to see in these next 4 games against the Twins, they've got to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they know that. I mean, there's some guys who've been here for a while. They know how it works. We've moved some guys up from AAA, guys moved down. There are plenty of guys who've been back and forth already, but whoever the 26 guys are out there, they know they have to figure it out. And this is not a time of year, nor is it really a place where, we're going to go out and get a bunch of different guys. It just doesn't happen.
Right. And you know what we just had Willie MacIver on, and the body language, the things that he was saying about, the team owns it. They know exactly what they're doing. And looking down there too in the games, on TV games as well. I look in the dugout. I look at the body. I don't see any panic going on here. I don't see any, people look like they're in dire straits. They know they're in a funk.
Sure.
But they know they can get out of it too, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys are good. We've been in games. There's a couple games on that road trip we absolutely should have won. I think they're a little demoralized the last couple days in Toronto. Like, how could you not be?
Sure.
But you're right. These guys play hard. Mark does an incredible job of setting the tone.
He does.
You couldn't have picked a better guy than Willie MacIver to talk to talk about being positive.
He fired us up today.
Let's go.
No, Willie's great, and he brings that whether he's playing or not.
Yeah.
You're right. You don't see these guys getting down or not playing hard. Like, it's out there. The effort is there. Someone just has to, put it on their shoulders to win a game for us, just to kind of flip the script.
Yeah.
I know human beings are not phones or computers, but sometimes you just need a reset. And JJ Bleday is back.
Yeah.
He went down there. Seth Brown is actually just killing it down there, but JJ is back. Do you think that you hit the reset button and can get him going again?
I hope so. It's a lot to put on JJ just being down there for a week, frankly. Yeah. And if I'm totally honest, like, we were hoping probably for some more time, but Miguel gets hurt. Like, JJ's swinging the bat well down there. He's the next best guy to have here. So you can't make that decision otherwise, because the priority is winning games here. But hopefully saw some pitches, got some hits, a little bit of confidence goes a long way. like you said, Brownie's doing a great job down there, and you just hope that when he gets here, JJ gets back in the lineup and it has something to offer.
Yeah, and obviously there's a few guys that are down too from injuries too. I was talking to Townie about some of the guys, and was curious about Nick Kurtz and how's his progression coming, and what are you looking about him?
I think we'll see Nick soon. I mean, he's running the bases at the end of this week. I think we got a chance to get him out and play on Saturday or both Saturday and Sunday, and I think the target is a week from tonight in Anaheim. He's back, so that'd be nice to have him back in the lineup.
He was starting to do this,
Yeah, he sure was.
I have a long list of all the guys, and it's unbelievable. Andujar, I know, was dealing with it, kind of played through it, and now you put him on the IL. I'm not asking you to play doctor, even though I do always ask you to play doctor. How long do you think that's going? Obliques are kind of tough.
It's going to be a little while. Yeah, I think he felt it on 2 particular swings yesterday. He's got an aggressive swing anyways, so he felt it on a couple swings yesterday. We're going to have to give Mickey some time to heal.
Out of all the pitchers, when you look at some point, Waldichuk will show up. I'm thinking in July sometime
after the All-Star break, hopefully.
Okay, so. Love Brady Basso. No, he's throwing to hitters. JT Ginn is going to be back. Like who do you envision being able to come back and really help you probably in June?
I mean, I think we got Ginn scheduled for a rehab game at the end of this week. So hopefully JT goes out and throws his 4 innings. Then we make a decision after that, whether it's one more or he comes back. Basso is going to go out hopefully soon, sometime in the next couple of weeks. I think we see him before the end of the month.
Yeah.
So those are probably the 2 guys. Gunner's down now, and that one may be a little while too. He an MRI on his hip. He's going to go see a specialist. But
did he just gut it out and made it worse?
It's hard to say. He felt it in the first inning yesterday. You could see his stuff was a little bit, or 2 days ago, you could see his stuff was down the rest of that game. But he got through 6 innings for us, which was big. But he's going to need to see someone about that.
Do you think with JT, do you think his position will stay where he is now as a starter? Do you think he could be more somebody that can help in the bullpen, which could help him maybe stay a little healthier? Or what's kind of the thought about JT?
I mean, I think he's had success in the starting role, and we'd like to get him back there. That said, nothing's off the table right now. I mean, we're looking at different ways to flip the bullpen and the rotation. And, obviously the idea of openers is out there, but also giving those relievers some softer landings somewhere.
Yeah.
JT's pitched out of the pen before. Maybe that is, we'll see how the start goes Thursday in Gunner's spot. I think we'll decide later in the week what we're doing. But we have to sort of keep our options open right now.
Sometimes you got to help out the staff, right? When the staff's got their daubers down a little bit, I know it's kind of the case with Mark Kotze and the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Have you reached out and tried to help these guys get through this?
Yeah, I mean, our staff works really hard. I mean, those guys put in the work every day. It's frustrating when they don't see the success come from it, but Mark's done a really good job. And I mean, it'd be disingenuous to say they're not down right now.
Totally.
You have to be.
Yeah.
But I don't worry about them too much. I mean, they know they have my support. A lot of those guys have been here during successful times, during times when young players came up and got better and developed, and they've been the reason. Their processes have been good in the past. I don't look at them as the reason for any of this right now.
Yeah, when we had Willie MacIver on here, what an inspiration he was. Just talking with him, it just really shot us right up, because his debut and coming out and doing the things that he did, is it something like that can really be the facilitator for this team to maybe find something and maybe turn this thing around a little bit, because that debut for him was like a storybook.
Yeah, I was hoping that game last Sunday was a little bit of momentum. Yeah. Obviously, it felt great in the dugout. But you do talk about like the energy that guys bring it and sort of switching it up. I mean, obviously, I'm not in the dugout. I've never been in a big league dugout, but Kotz talks a lot about what it feels like down there when you're down. How do the guys respond?
Yeah.
Who are the voices? Who on both the staff and on the roster are the guys that are responsible for picking everybody up? Willie's certainly a guy like that. We know Rook has a loud voice in that dugout. We know Lawrence, when he's going well, has the ability to bring everybody with him. Denzel's defense right now has a chance to motivate and sort of bring guys. So you look for those little things to kind of spark. Ultimately, look, winning is what counts.
Yes.
Winning is what's going to do it for this group and is going to really sort of change the narrative right now. That's kind of all it takes.
Yeah, we always forget we're dealing with human beings, and it really hit me when we had Fran Reardon on recently. Fran got choked up talking about MacIver and Davidson.
I'll bet.
Yes. Like when you the story of a 28-year-old and a 27-year-old. I remember we did Logan Davidson's first interview when he came into BB after he signed.
Yeah.
And it's like moves like that. I mean, it really not only means a lot up here, but it resonates throughout the entire organization.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised Fran got emotional, and those guys grind it out in AAA. There's a lot of crap that comes with being the AAA manager and dealing with personalities, and I'm always happy for him when he gets to deliver news like that. And we've had, frankly, a lot of guys this year, Avans too, right behind those two guys who have grinded it out in the minor leagues, get that call, and Fran gets to deliver the news. And they've done a great job down there. That Vegas team is first in the PCL. I think this was their first losing series to Oklahoma City this last week in a long time. But, they're putting up W's. Every time we take a player, we don't send someone back always. Like they have to figure it out. They've brought guys up from AA. They've got career minor leaguers. They have figured out a way to win, and a lot of credit to Fran and his staff.
That is something we don't talk a lot about. Like Fran said at one point, I think one game they didn't think they had enough guys.
We had a young kid, Ben Newton, who we signed after the draft last year. Has been on their player development list all year, basically as a bullpen catcher. Had to activate like 10 minutes before a game. Goes out and goes 1 for 3 with a double. Like that's what the minor league.
That's living the dream right there.
They figure out a way.
Yes,
that's beautiful.
I got a shot. You got a hit. AAA.
That's amazing.
I will say there are good stories up and down the minor league system right now. It's been fun to watch. I'm sure you guys have talked about Gage Jump and what he's doing at AA.
Well, I get a lot of people calling the post game show. When's Morales coming up?
That was my next question to you. What? Townie stole my thunder. But
go ahead.
I mean, you see, like we've had to make these moves when you have a Tristan up here, Morales and Morris are in the AAA rotation now. Gage moves up to AA. It's probably only a matter of time before he takes that next step. And I worry a little bit about bringing those kids up here now that probably be overwhelmed. Talk about maybe get their feet wet in the bullpen at some point. We've had the discussions, and certainly the way all three of them have pitched. They're in the conversation.
How about Morales? Because I know our fans are eager to know what he's got.
Yeah.
He's got some electricity in that arm. I mean, maybe you can tell us a little about what you see from him.
Yeah, I mean, the fastball obviously dominates his repertoire. He pitches up in the zone. You worry a little bit when he moved from AA to AAA. Will AAA hitters react the same? And they absolutely do.
Yeah.
Because then he drops a slider in with a huge velocity disparity.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The changeup is kind of his third pitch, and we're trying to get him to use it more. That's part of development. But man, the way he pitches with his fastball and commands it, that's ultimately what it takes.
It's huge.
Up here. Yeah,
that's huge.
That is the exciting part of his game, and he has this sort of slow pulse no matter what he's doing out there on the mound. He doesn't get rattled. I think he's a kid who's sort of been at every level, made his way up, and I think he's just waiting.
Nice.
The thing that I always warn people of, and especially at a time like where this ball club is when you say, got to get this guy up, it's like what this team does not need is somebody to come up and go 2 2/3, right? That's like the worst. Do you think about that going, where this bullpen is, we need guys that we can count going to give innings, and young guys in development, you can't guarantee that.
It's hard. We've brought up Gannon Hoagland this year from there, and they've done a nice job giving us 5+ innings. But you see, we've had to add length to our bullpen. We brought Beto back. We went out and got Sean Newcomb. You need the length in the pen. Ultimately what you need is a stretch of games where the starter's giving you 6 or 7 innings. And in fairness to our starters, they've done that at times. We've had some games that have been in hand. Sevy's done a great job. JP did a really nice job, the other day. We need it consistently. We need to reset the bullpen, but you certainly worry with bringing up young starters how much you're expecting of them.
Well, maybe we'll see a twist here because the Minnesota club has been a team that's been tough to score runs. They've been pitching well, so this will be a nice challenge for our offense that has been very, very good. So maybe this will be a turning point. But I'll tell you another thing that's been a turning point is that picture of you and me when you were just a little boy has been like, I got people ask me all the time.
Oh, come on.
There we are, David, right there. Check out the TV right here. Here we are. I mean, I look just about as young as you do in that picture. But, man, I get asked
Look
about
at you
that.
rocking the 80s hairdo, Sax.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm glad people asked
believe
you
that
about it.
picture?
That's
They
fun.
asking me about that picture.
And you were a towhead. You were blonde back in the day.
For a long time.
That is amazing. That is so funny. Where was that in L.A.?
It was.
Oh, God,
somewhere.
that's so funny.
It'd be funny if I said my hair was like that until the last 15 games, right?
I got the positive numbers.
Good.
500 by August 15th.
There
I've
you
got the blueprint.
Townie math. We're living by Townie math.
I'm telling you, this is Custer's last stand right here. This is when it happens right here.
Well, this ballpark owes us a little bit. So, from the first 2 months of the season. So let's try and make a good homestand out
You
of it.
have to admit the fight that you saw in Toronto, that there's fight.
For sure.
There is.
There's fight.
No doubt.
Absolutely. So,
All right. Well, it wasn't that bad.
I told you I was serious. I was looking forward to it. I knew you'd put a positive spin on it.
We're gonna make. I'm. You know what? I'm doing everything I can for your skipper right now.
Good.
I'm doing everything I can for him.
He needs it.
Well, thank you very much.
All right,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thank
David
you.
Forst, the general manager of the Athletics, right here on A's Cast Live. You about ready?
Yeah, ready to rock. I think we could smell something different happening now. You get a new team in here.
We're going to step away.
Yeah.
Steve Sax is going to do a little.
Wait, what am I doing?
The pump me up. We need a little pump me up.
You're going to pump me up?
We need a little pump me up.
All right.
Hold on. Let me get.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing a pump me up here, huh? Okay.
We need you to. This is not to the fans.
No.
This is
to you and me.
This is like if you're talking like if they brought you into the players, say, hey, here's Steve Sax, 2-time World Series champion. Steve Sax, he's a 5-time All-Star. This guy knows what it's like to win, but he knows what it's like to struggles. He's had his own struggles in his life. He's had his own demons that he's had to overcome. So we brought in Steve Sax today to talk to you guys and just to let you know that there's a lot of season left. We have a lot of games left.
Yeah.
This thing isn't over.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Townie, first of all, you could have just preempted me a little bit about what I need to say. So thanks for putting me on the spot. I feel kind of lonely up here. But anyway, if I was in that clubhouse, first of all, the guys would probably be looking at their watch or, saying, hey, what time are we eating? You know what I mean? I don't want to hear this guy talk. But if I were in there, this is what I would say. I would say that, it's no secret what's going on. Everybody knows that they're in a funk right now. Losing 17 out of 18 it's what it is. But the way I see this thing is there's other teams that are going to go through this as well. There's other teams that are going through this and already have gone through this. And so basically to me, it's about cutting this season up in 54s. 54 is 1/3 of the season, and every team is going to lose 54 games. Every team's going to win 54 games, and it's what you do in that middle 54 that is really going to be the difference maker. But the way that I see this generally is two things. You have control of a couple of things, and that is the way you prepare and the way you react to what happens to you. Everything else is not in your control. A pebble could get in the way of a ball that could cause a game. You could face a team like the Angels when they're absolutely playing with their hair on fire, in which they were. So there's a lot of teams that you catch at the wrong time, and sometimes they're going to catch you at the wrong time. But the main thing that you can do is not worry about what you can't control. That's just where it's at. Frankly, it's almost none of our business about what we can't control. But what you can do, again, how you react to what happens to you and how you get ready for the games to go out and play your best. That's what really matters, and let everything happen from there. That's what I'd basically tell them.
All right. I like it.
I'd just be honest with them,
I like it.
Got my family here cheering for me.
I like it. I would go in and I'd start screaming and I'd go in, God,
what's wrong with you?
What the hell is going on, you sons of
no, you wouldn't say that, Townie.
No, I wouldn't.
Let me tell you, but Townie's got a tough exterior, but he's really a pretty nice guy.
Right now they need love.
Yeah.
They need love. That's
better. That's a lot better than the harsh stuff.
This team needs love. I know that Mrs. Kotze made her way to Toronto. The skipper's been down a little bit.
Can I say something about him?
Sure.
And that is that they are very lucky to have Mark Kotze as their skipper. He gets it. They've bought into the philosophy. I'm telling you, I'm listening to him. I'd buy into the philosophy. And, he understands that part of this is a growth and learning period, and you're going to have to get through it that way too. There's part of that you're going to have to understand, and he understands it. Mark's a great manager because he understands these kids.
Yeah, they need something. We keep saying it, but they need something special to happen.
Yeah. Should I go down there?
No, I mean, they do
need
right?
something. They do. They need somebody to hit a big walk-off, big grand slam. They need Sevy or J.P. Sears to come out here and pitch a one-hitter with the whole crowd standing up and cheering on every pitch in the ninth inning. They need something big like that to say, wow, look at this thing can really happen here. And then they're off and running. And sometimes that's what it takes.
Well, Severino is pitching tonight, so maybe Luis goes out there and gives you 7 scoreless innings.
Well,
I can't say 8 because no one goes 8 innings. But
and this team has had trouble scoring runs, so this might be a chance for that to happen.
Well, they're only averaging 4 runs per game, and they pitch very well. They have like the 6th best ERA in all of baseball. So
they do.
Get to Joe Ryan early.
Yeah,
and I say that a lot, but you want to get to him. I mean, because their pitching staff has been so good, but that could be the spark you need. Jacob Wilson had his 3rd 4-hit game of the year, which is tied with Aaron Judge and Rafi Devers for the most in baseball. He has 24 multi-hit games.
Mm-hmm.
Have another multi-hit game. He already ended May on a good note. He's already started off June on a great note.
Yeah.
Get him on, get Lawrence Butler on. Rooker can drive in some runs against his old team. Finally can deliver against his old team. And maybe that's the spark you need. Maybe Rooker is the spark the team needs.
Okay.
You're talking about offense. They've already had offensive spark. The spark has to come from the pitching.
Yeah.
The reason they are where they are is pitching.
There's no doubt.
So it's great. We can talk about Jacob Wilson. We'll keep highlighting it.
Yeah.
Rooker will have the bobblehead and he can hit home runs. And
I will say one thing.
They had a lead on Saturday. They had a lead on Sunday.
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah, you're right.
That's where the change has to happen.
That's where it is.
That's where the problem is. You're not going to, as Brad Pitt said, you're not looking at the problem.
Mm-hmm.
What's the problem? Well, you're not looking at the problem. Mm-hmm. Telling me offense.
Yeah.
Jacob Wilson going to come out and close the game. Brent Rooker going to come in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
Get people out.
Yeah. I do like the fact that Lawrence Butler's hitting the ball to left field against left-handed pitchers.
That all sounds great.
Yeah, but it's not going to win the game because we don't have what it takes right now in the closer department. Not the closer, but in the bullpen department.
7th and 8th inning, yes. I mean,
7th and 8th, yeah.
In my opinion, my humble opinion, you need to end this. We're taking starting pitchers out at 82 to 92 pitches.
Yeah. It would be nice to go 8 and then have Mason
They
Miller
got to
come
be
in and
pushed.
knock it down.
They got to be pushed over 100 because every single time your starter goes deeper, less outs the bullpen has to get.
Yeah, that's true. And that's true for every club. I mean,
and Eno Saris, who is the data guru of gurus, our national baseball columnist for The Athletic, said that they have researched this, guys, we got to go.
Yeah.
Much smarter than us. Every pitch your starter throws saves your bullpen, not only for this game, but the next game. So taking guys out at 82, 92 pitches, Severino, you got to go 7 today. You got to go 110 pitches.
Yeah, I love it.
Right? You've got to stop with 12 to 9 outs having to be covered by the bullpen.
Yes.
So I get it. It's great. Let's talk Jacob Wilson. You want to win games, you've got to have the bullpen have less outs to have to get. All right, we got to go.
Yeah, we got to go. Big announcement we're going to tease for tomorrow. Can't say what it is, but big announcement coming on our program tomorrow. Stay tuned for that tomorrow.
Big announcement.
So that's going to do it for A's Cast Live.
We'll see everybody tomorrow. Up next, we got Johnny D and Ken Korak getting you ready for A's Baseball. A's Cast is an audio-video platform streaming that we developed for our fan base, so they will always have a place to go and get all the information on their team. You can hear the games. You can hear the pre- and post-game show. We also have the video component. You can watch my talk show, A's Cast Live. Everything A's is on A's Cast. We've had everybody from the commissioner. We've had over 20 Hall of Famers. We've had the top players in the game, the top movers and shakers. We cover this entire sport like nobody else. You can go to athletics.com/A'sCast, or you can watch us on YouTube, or you can follow us on X Twitter at AthleticsCast24.